across Libya's borders each and every year, and they are risking their lives for nothing more than the simple concept of, in some cases, safety, in others, a better life. Now, recently, a crackdown by the Libyan Coast Guard means fewer boats make it to the water, leaving smugglers with a backlog of people on their hands. I'm joined now by the European Commissioner for Migration, Dimitris Avramopoulos. He is in Strasbourg. I want to thank you for joining us, especially after having seen that very disturbing report from NEMA. I just want to get your reaction to that.
It is not only disturbing, it is really shocking. The images are appalling, and believe me, the reality is even worse. Unfortunately, we are all aware of some of these inhumane conditions in Libya and how criminal groups are exploiting vulnerable people. This cannot continue. And this is, Paula, precisely why the European Union, the international community, and countries in the neighborhood are engaged to solve this situation. Yesterday, I was in Bern, where I attended the third contact group on the Central Mediterranean, together with the ministers of 7 African countries of the region and the European countries concerned, as well as our partners from the UNHCR, IOM, and the Red Cross. So I can tell you that the European Union is working in full cooperation with the international partners on the ground in Libya, exactly because our priority has always been and will continue to improve the situation and protection of migrants, fight traffickers and smugglers, save lives, and create legal pathways to Europe for those who are in genuine need of international protection.
Yeah, and I'm glad...
I also met with the Libyan Minister of Interior, who also attended the meeting, and reiterate to him the need to urgently improve the conditions there and to meet international humanitarian standards.
You know, I'm glad that you mentioned the smugglers there. And let's face the facts, unfortunately, this is a business. And in some cases, you know, we've heard NEMA say that, look, it's easier than smuggling drugs or arms, and in some cases, much more profitable. What can the European Union do to really stop that equation? Because it's the money equation right now that is having so many people suffer through this in Libya and elsewhere.
You're absolutely right. And it's not only a responsibility of the European Union, but the responsibility of the whole world. What we see on the ground there is affecting directly the whole world, because the situation in Libya, Paula, let me tell you, is still chaotic. Unfortunately, the government, the recognized government in Tripoli, does not have full control of the situation there. And on the other hand, we have a number of militias operating totally uncontrolled in this country. So what I told before, we have engaged neighboring countries. We cooperated with Mali, with Chad, and all other countries in the region in order, first of all, to stem the flows. And believe me, all these operations have already given concrete examples. We have saved more than 315,000 lives thanks to EU operations supporting the Italian Coast Guard. On smuggling and trafficking, we see the very ugly reality in your video, and tackling this is a core priority for us, I can assure you. We have clear results through our cooperation with Niger and its government and police to fight traffickers. I can tell you over 100 suspected traffickers and smugglers have been arrested so far. The model we expand into other countries as called for by the European Council in October 2017. But we also work on many fronts so that people do not fall in the hands of traffickers in the first place. Yeah, and then resettlement, you know, it's a legal way for the ones who want to come to Europe.
Yes? Sorry, but it's absolutely chilling to hear you say that
I continue if I am allowed.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. You know what is a resettlement? I called for another 50,000 resettlement places in the European Union with focus on Africa. And we have already received more than 34,000 pledges, and I expect more. Also, this weekend, the first group of 25 of the most vulnerable persons needing protection were evacuated from Libya to Niger, awaiting their further resettlement. So the European Union, I want to be very clear on that, is not a fortress Europe. We are open and hospitable, but I have once again to be blunt and clear. The ones who are in need of international protection will have it. The others have to be returned. And this is one of the major tasks of the European Borders and Coast Guard. We cooperate with the International Organization for Migration and UNHCR. This very important international organizations who have as a task, as an objective, to save lives and protect these desperate people. And we have adopted a policy that it is fully aligned to the basic principles and values of the international agreements in the United Nations.
Okay, I take you at your word there. I know Europe is doing its best. It's just to highlight, it's an incredible situation that people are actually spending so much money because they want to so desperately get to Europe. And we will continue to follow the story in terms of exactly what you said, ways that they can get to Europe legally in a way that they think they can still ensure a livelihood for their families back home and their safety. I want to thank you for your comments this evening. Appreciate it.